Okay, so it should be turning on. Can we just stop it and just play it back? Do you mind? So we can see if it's okay. Because last time, yeah, let's stop. Why not just even play it back here?
Do you want to try?
What?
You have your mic.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Yeah, let's see if we can record it something. Because last time, I had again problems with the sound. It went well for about a minute, and then remember how it happened. I don't know what I'm doing incorrectly, but it started having that problem again with the sound. So that's what. Can you hear the sound? Is it muted?
Medium looks good.
Well, at least we
don't
had
have
these
sound.
two.
What?
At least we had the other cell phones to do it for.
The other cell phones were great, but the sound now, we don't. It's the same.
As you said, always there's a problem.
When they tell me there's no problem.
Sometimes the same thing happens to my computer. Is like if I don't use it for like a week, I feel like it gets slow for some reason. Is it possible?
Well, it could be that your files are like defragmented.
And then like if I use it for like 2 or 3
You know,
days,
not-
everything goes.
Before I had bad sound, and now I'm having, you remember in the very beginning? Let me make sure this is on, right? Little mic. Oh, this may be the batteries are a problem here. See how it's blinking red? Yeah. This may be the problem with the batteries now.
Yeah.
Let's try it again. Let's try it again for a minute. We'll try to see what the issue is. Because then we waste all the time on recording and we never check it.
Yeah, you gotta always make sure the mic is on.
Yeah.
So you start recording.
Yeah. And it was on, but it was green before, Let's go. Let's do another minute before you leave. I don't want to call you back. Perfect. And you see now it's like black. See how everything is. Do you see how it's, we should be seeing is it going down? We should be seeing the, okay. I'm going to share the screen. All right, I shared the screen and now I'm going to go to Blackboard. So what's now going on?
Testing one, test. 1, 2, 3, test.
Okay. Now, did you put start on? Shouldn't there have been a red light there?
Yes, as I told you, it takes a couple seconds to come on,
Okay.
so it's not gonna come on right away.
Okay.
Should I try it over here?
Yeah. Oh my God. Is that the same ones we had before or no? No, that was the same one, right? That was
Is
the
it?
earlier, yeah. That's the earlier one. Yeah, I didn't see it. I don't think it recorded it.
Probably wasn't wrong.
Yeah. You can delete it. Right. Okay, now I'm doing another one. Let's speak so we can hear it, you know what I mean? So we're gonna, well, yeah, you have the mic. Okay, so we can try for a while. Now it has the red light. Yeah, and it has the red light. Everything we need to test and retest and test and retest, okay? So. Let's go to the, go to the links. Web link. Okay, did you take it out?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, fine. Okay, folks, welcome back. We're having technical difficulty as usual, but one of the things is we need to retest, test, and test. Last time for our speakers for modernizing medicine, it's also good, we had some problems with the camera here. Remember my voice at one time, it would have all this background noise. Remember that first time? And then they changed my mic, and all of a sudden I heard it again, and the first minute was fine, and then it came back again. That's why it's nice for backup. One of the things is we also, some of you are wondering, we're doing live broadcast within the computer, right, with Hangouts on Air, and live broadcast with the phones. So the phones and inside the computer were fine. We're having issues here. So I kindly appreciate the tech support here for Memorial coming to figure out what the issue is. At least, and we need to check it each time. Okay, questions before we begin. Elise, you know what I did with your group? I found a link for scanning the food. If everybody goes to Blackboard, what?
Yeah, is that under
No, I put it under our regular, so everybody can see. Go to Blackboard, and if you go to Blackboard, it says scan food. Let me just see if it works. And always I have to see if it works too, right? I give you a link, and it could be a dead link. Who knows, right? So who knows what it is. But phone uses Israeli tech to scan insides of food for calories, other data. So, right? So what's nice here is that you can use this notice that it'll scan inside, and you can use it as a phone. So it's really Consumer Physics Inc. Can you imagine? To launch with Chinese U.S. partners, the Changhong H2 with material sensor. So we can tell here. So with your phones here, you can do it. So what I was talking with Elisa, right? We had a good time yesterday, right? We were we had a special consult, right? On Sunday, And what I was telling her, it's a lot of your things with the startups, is you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Number one is you don't know how to reinvent the wheel. And number two is the whole idea is partnering with other ones. So a lot of your programs here, you want to look at what's available and partner and get, especially in the future, it's going to be AI technology, machine learning. Find what's available now, and then you can either do joint ventures with companies or licensing, something like that. You can promote them, you can tell them, it has to be mutual for both sides, so it could be a way in which you can partner this group, you can say sponsored by, or the AI was incorporated and you can use them so you can promote them. Other ways, and they say, why should we give it to you? But it may be in ways that you can market it together, you can have them be partners with you, looking at different, this is just our beginning. So I just wanted you to show you, you can find other ones, but this is a company that I saw there first round here, and it was that you could take a picture and then it could sense what it was. But this was interesting too, not just that it's an apple and then go to another chart, but it was a way in which to get the calories and get the consistencies. There's some other ones on the phones that you can tell the ripeness, you can tell the amount of sugar there is. So you could tell in terms of, is this fruit going to be maybe rotten? Is this going to be at its peak? Maybe even for, you can have a special one for diabetes, diabetics, that this is a certain amount counting. This is more high sugar than this one is.
Excuse me.
Yes.
You have another thumb drive I could
Pardon?
try?
Yeah, you think it's a thumb drive? Let me think. Let me see. Oh, you think it may be the thumb drive that's the issue?
Yes, it's not light enough in the
Okay,
recorder.
let's see, it's not. Anyone have a thumb drive that I can just borrow just for,
If not, I could go get one.
you wanna go get one? You wanna have, just to see if it works, and then remember to take it back, because I think you got it from, did you give Dr. Gerst yours too?
Yeah.
Right,
Is it a,
so you had his valuable words.
I almost wanna give.
how many gigs is
But
it?
I don't even use it.
How
Okay,
many gigs is it?
how many gigs?
4.
No, I think I need 8.
Okay, you need 8, okay. He'll come back, but that's why it's interesting. So this one, if you look at phone uses, Israeli tech to scan inside of food for calories. It's kind of interesting here, called, the phone will be unveiled at the Consumer Electronics, so it is already out. The collaboration, see here, the collaboration has enabled the integration of computer physics breakthrough, the material sensing technology into smartphones. The phone to be launched this year will be the first time in history to allow consumers to scan materials and immediately receive insights about their underlying chemical composition. This will help improve their personal wellness, select the best fruits and vegetables, stick to their diets and nutritional needs, and verify product authenticity in real time. What's the purpose of that? For patient safety. Why is that important?
Really bad allergies.
Allergies, what else? They don't just do food, they do content. So what about drugs? What? Basically, have you ever heard of it? They have like fake drugs out there that are basically sending you, and they're really not the drugs that they're supposed to be. So you can really tell, did I get these capsules? How do you know what's in them? So you basically can use them for verification and the companies, and then you can see here, that are excited to add growing portfolio here. Yes, I'm here.
Like how will you be able to tell like what is inside those medication, because they can just put the wrong barcode there and you scan it?
No, the actual pill, not the barcode.
Also, you scan the pill?
And so what they're doing, and each year, since their collaboration, each year the Internet of Things continues to grow, and profound impact of smart, connected devices felt more and more in our daily lives, right? And then they're talking about is working to create a greater variety of mobile applications that use the SIO sensor, right? Just as power of the Internet. So they're using it for a number of ways. So, and then you can see here, they're doing for analog devices, and first molecular scanner. You can just point the gadget at an item and the device reads the item's molecular structure. Okay, and it won numerous awards, as well as Strategic Angel Investors is working on integrating into wireless connected devices such as a kitchen scale, NutriSmart, which is the first connected kitchen scale that analyzes food nutritional value. So something like that, and then you can look at their competitors. But something like that, here you work with them, he's going to try and scales work with them and others that you can do, rather than saying, I'm going to develop. Notice these are physicists, or, major physicists here developing, but what you have is you have a good sense of the market. They have no clue about the market. So even though a lot of you say, I'm not a physicist and I'm not a computer scientist, that's the beauty, is that we have an integration of teams. You know the marketplace. You know, for instance, what people will use. You know that you don't want to start typing in everything that you eat. Each time you say, forget it, I'll just take whatever's on the shelf and that's it. I don't have patience for that. So this is the way in which you do it. Yes. Okay, so did you use another?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think it was, well, we'll see whether it was my
Yeah.
one or not. I appreciate your help here all the time. Okay? Any questions on that? The next thing, what is our sense here? Yeah, I'm getting feedback. Is on Wednesday.
It's not working? The mic?
What?
The microphone's not working? I can hear it.
I'm talking now. It's working.
Okay. Let's check.
The mic is working. Yeah, I
There's
just
a
don't.
little feedback I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm getting feedback, and it's getting feedback on Wednesday too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before it was not getting feedback, so I don't know what's going on here. I need a audio engineer with me at all times. Do you know how they do those in the concerts? They have a whole team coming in with the speakers, right? And I need a little mic like this too, and then I can do some singing as well. Okay, dancing and singing, I can have a whole show. All right, you see here I got the feedback?
Yeah.
So good, I'm glad that you're here, I appreciate it.
Let me see.
You want to take it?
No, this one is
You can see it. Wednesday. So what do you think about, first of all, what do you think about the guest speakers? Worthwhile, no?
Yeah.
You can, and you can see they can bring to life. So last time it was modernizing medicine. Any comments?
It was really good.
Impressive first.
Yeah, no, I think we've all been looking at that.
I mean, she's impressive, and you can just see, I'm giving you a variety, from the wheeling, dealing versus one that's a practicing physician, and they have kind of like that interesting model, I thought, that she's reduced. She used to work 5 days a week in practice. Now she's reduced it to 1 day a week. And the rest of the time is in that in the new company dealing with it as well.
Yeah, so I think the problem is your thumb drive is too big and it's not compatible with the system.
But it was working before that sometimes. Can you try it again?
I could try it again.
Try it again.
I gotta check if it's compatible.
Yeah, you gotta try to check if it's compatible. If otherwise, I can borrow yours and then I can bring, I can take a download and bring it back to you. I appreciate it. Or maybe there's something wrong with that thumb drive, Okay, the other part that I wanted to tell you, it's an interesting opportunity. What was the disadvantage of that modernizing medicine? The new advantage is working on the iPad. What's the disadvantage? Well, the expense, but they're all gonna, there are some that are even EHRs that are free, that are like almost like a Facebook type of thing that you don't pay, they get commercials, whatever.
Well, I actually had a question with that.
Yeah.
If the EHR is free, isn't that like, how do you justify that when it comes to security measures? I don't know, I would just think that, I don't know if I would want my practice to have a free
Well,
system.
it turns out, and I'll share with you some of the free ones, and just because they're free doesn't mean that the security measures are not available, because what they've done is, one of them is in Silicon Valley that's gotten millions of dollars in investments. They're hosting in the same place as, for instance, Modernizing Medicine, which is Amazon Web Services. So I'm not concerned about that. The way that they're thinking about is, and I think that direction is one, that you can have ads. So if you don't mind having ads as a physician, just like your Facebook, right? Or you can, Facebook may be having good, or Google may have good security, more than a mom and pop doing the EHR, but it may be, it's a flip side of.
I don't think the mic is on.
You don't know the mic is on? It's going off?
Yeah, so it's, your thumb drive's not lighting up in the thing.
Okay, so my mic is now on.
Yeah,
It's okay. I
try to
mean,
adjust it.
hello, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
We're getting,
We're getting feedback. Okay, good. So, yeah, you hear that?
You guys wanna change the room or something?
I don't know. We can. We're working.
let's see that.
Their problem is, we're talking broadly about modernizing medicine, the drawbacks. We can kind of see the feedbacks for what were the drawbacks or something like that. I also saw the drawbacks is to really use it, is it really fits to use it in their flow. And if you don't want to use their flow, it's difficult. And I was not having that problem before. I don't know if it's this mic
I think it
now.
might be the cable.
It might be the cable, because I was not having that feedback problem until last time I was there. Yes?
Sorry, in terms of the biggest drawback with that, in terms of the answer question, it's, unless you go in their specific order and it's yes, no, or not, you need to let the person or parent or someone speak, and they're gonna go on, otherwise you're gonna constantly interrupt them. No, I don't wanna hear about what happened today, so tell me, does he have pain now? And then you're gonna keep redirecting them, and it's gonna not be a very natural interaction.
And you may miss some things too.
And exactly, because you just go in there and a lot of times.
And you don't have good rapport with him because he's not listening to me.
Exactly, I mean, that's what, I hinted at that to say to her, like, you can
Yeah.
either write down your answers and then go back and kind of fill it in, and that's one way, but the whole point of the modernized
Well,
medicine was
then
to see more patients, to be quicker,
Right.
but that's
But
why
you-
it's
but
tough, and
before-
then you could even, like, I know unstructured data is not good for sharing data and documenting everything, but you get unstructured answers from the patient.
Well, once we get more artificial intelligence from the unstructured data, then you can get structured data and start looking for patterns.
Well, I mean, you can put it in
And
yourself.
you understand? And then it needs to be more natural flow, because what all the technology sometimes does is it makes you more stifled, just like she was saying about typing. I'm typing in the computer, just like here. I'm using all this technology, and we're using our own dog food. But can you imagine if you were in every class that you had all this echo? We're doing it because I'm just showing you that using the technology, there's barriers to entry. There's a reason why people don't want to do the adoption.
And then,
And it's not still as smooth. Remember how many times I have to have help? I said, put these up. But as soon, what you really want to do is almost like that recording. I hit a button, everything could possibly be recorded in a secure environment. It can go from the voice to text immediately. You could decide which of those areas you wanted to eliminate. Can go all onto the record. All my videos, if I see something on, like there's a rash, I can get pictures of the rash, get it attached to my record.
I guess another thing that worries me about that in terms of the structured questions is, one is you have to have a diagnosis. So coming in, it gives you a certain answer, but most patients, you don't have a known diagnosis when they come in, or they get referred to you. Maybe they got referred to you and her known diagnosis, like rheumatology, could be some type of rheumatic arthritis, but maybe it's a malignancy, or maybe it is all in their
So
head, or
structured
something
that-
like that, or you're gonna miss a condition because you have pre-selected them into this, and there's questions you should have asked that if you were being just your
Oh, but
natural
self
you would
being-
ask, and so I think I'd be worried about that.
Or
as a-
what they need to do is they have to change it as, with your flow, it automatically changes with
And go
your
with
flow.
maybe complaints.
Rather than what she was saying before, was the idea, oh, then you can just choose what you want my flow, and then you'd be looking all around all the time saying, oh, I need to go to this direction, that direction. But it's a start. And they've gotten, flip side of it, dermatology, it seems like they embraced it, and maybe dermatology is more structured than maybe pediatrics, where pediatrics, I don't know, my baby is crying, it has high fever, it could be a number of things. Here maybe in dermatology, I'm coming to you because you see this? I have this mole here and it wasn't there before. So maybe, that may be some practices may fit more that model, or let's just look at all your moles that you have with going through it, yeah.
So I think like what needs to happen is like an AI should like basically create a pattern for each specific person.
Well,
So we
ideally,
need to-
that would be,
that would
ideally,
be-
or for instance, Bradley's way of doing practice, it gets used to it, it learns your practice, it almost has to look about the questions you do, almost do an open-ended way, and then based on how you're doing it, you maybe have like 3 types of ways, and it can learn from you more. Yes,
I kind of have a question for Bradley. So as like a physician then, when you saw that, was it not something that would appeal to you, like to use it?
There were aspects of it where it's in terms of, it'd be great to have all that actual data of patients that came in with arm complaint or patients that had diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and these were the certain other conditions that went with it. Having that data was great, but in
use mine
terms
and then we'll
of
see.
structure for me to go into a room and have an
So you
iPad,
left
for
my
me,
You left
like
your
kind
phone.
of plug it in each answer,
My thumb drive.
I don't like that. I
Yeah,
like to
fine,
have, but
fine.
again, each,
Yeah.
you know, she had to learn that.
Thank you,
For her,
sir.
she loves that and she's able to do that. Other people will bring in like an actual laptop and other ones use pen and paper. Like, I think for most people, it's, most patients are used to like kind of a pen and paper. So I'll say to the parent, like, hi, you know, most times, I'll say something to the effect that, I'm gonna be taking notes, just keep talking, I'm gonna be, just writing down to make sure I don't miss anything. And so you kind of say that going in, or you could say the same thing with, I'm just gonna be typing now to not, miss anything, but, I don't love that aspect because I just don't like kind of doing that. I like kind of writing.
Yeah, my concern was that, like, I mean, I guess if you, like, what the learning curve on it would be cause she said you could jump out of order, but how long would it take you to realize, oh, like, history is the 3rd thing over?
Yeah, well, that's what I-
You have really
Going
have
back
to learn
and
the
forth.
software.
Yeah, but it needs a number of more iterations. You know, think about it, we're beginning this, and they're a step up from the traditional Epic and Cerner, where you had to be behind a screen and a keyboard. So I think their new operation in starting in dermatology was, I have my iPad, I at least face my patient, I can record the voice easily, I can take a picture if I see something in dermatology, and it gets automatically incorporated into the record. So it's like the first, they were kind of more innovative, and you say, wow. But what we're used to, what I think it needs to be is more of a natural, they call it NLP, natural language processing, where the computer then can pick up my way of speaking, and then it can edit and put it into my words and put it into that unstructured can put it into structure and find out how I'm approaching it. Because there are resistance to a lot of this technology and a way in which to do it, but you know that you want it to be grabbed digitally so that I can make evidence-based research. You can see they're only in the beginning there with what are other physicians within the network, what prescriptions are they using, but still now, they just know they prescribe such a 60% of this medication, but it doesn't say what is the efficacy of those for my patients, but that'll be the next round. And when you're asking me about the free EHRs, what they're doing is they're also grabbing a lot of physicians because it is free, and they say, hey, you know what we can use it is for data. And I can grab it, de-identify the data, and then use it for other evidence-based training. So there are different models to it. But I think those Cerners and those Epics may eventually, or maybe even these IBM or GE may acquire them as they have a start.
I mean, I guess also because my mindset's mostly like inpatient or patients like that are currently in the hospital, and that's designed for the outpatient.
Oh,
which
this is completely
And that's what she
outpatient.
said, it's like, cause I asked about like the Cerner and Epic, she said this is just for outpatient. So it seems like it is great for like the physicians that get if they have 50 patients in a morning and 40 of them have similar complaints, that
Well, and
There
and
you
for
go.
which practice it's good for, and,
like such as like dermatology, rheumatology, who gets a lot of joint pain.
Right. But it still needs to be, I think the session really where it was, she was talking about Google Glass, Google Glass no longer exists, but the idea, you know, that was kind of an alpha kind of thing where it was, but it's something where I'm recording basically the entire session, and then you have a computer then be able to analyze that entire
So
session.
that'd be pretty nice.
You know what I mean?
I really like the outpatient kind of in terms of like the patient education that's kind of in there. So if this patient has this diagnosis, every time you give them that printout or these certain recommendations or
Or you
that
could give them,
diagnosis
you
to have
could
it.
even incorporate like videos. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could then do. Also, my suggestion is maybe have part of that, before they come in, can fill out that and populate already part of their record that you can bring in, that you don't have to ask about the 2 times and 3 times. There may be questions already that they can answer beforehand, so you can spend the
Or
time.
just send them those preordained questions.
Questions and have them fill it out.
And then, yeah.
And then it's incorporated in their
And you don't even need
record.
the doctor to kind of do it. You can hire any assistant to put that in there and then.
And for a lot of patients, and you'll see, I'm supposed to also have them, I don't know if they're coming, there's someone else that I met last week, and she's doing translations, making it easy to give instructions to the patient. So like you'll give something to a, elderly woman, and maybe she knows a little bit of English, but they give it to her in English, and then she, she may be Haitian and she may be other languages and she doesn't understand what they told her. So it's the idea that they're trying to make videos and they're trying to make audio that they can hear, and they're supposed to come in.
Just like going off of what he said, that, because I work in an outpatient surgery center now.
Okay.
And I was in medical records for like 2 months, so a lot of the patients that would come back, for instance, doing cataract surgeries, or, they do one eye and they come back the next week for the other eye. It's amazing that we have to do the whole new chart over again, like that should already be implemented into the system.
Yeah, there's so much
It's already done.
inefficiency, and
And the amount of paper is like, it's painful. It's
Right,
like,
and you're thinking
oh
paper.
my God. Just to do the charts, it's the same thing every single day.
So there are a lot of, we can definitely be more efficient, and it can also be more user friendly. It can be also for the physician that you can enjoy practicing rather than, I didn't send you to medical school to learn how to type. I didn't have you being hidden underneath the monitor trying to find out what's happening, and I can use it, but the way of practicing any type of health is gonna be changing. But it has to be done smartly, that I can still use your natural intelligence and have the machine do the mundane, or find things that you weren't able to do. And, yeah,
But like what's weird to me though is that when the charts are made, and maybe it's similar in the hospital setting, I'm sure it is, but like, they print the charts, the doctor is like, once the chart is complete, the surgery is done, then it's like we have to scan it back into the system for it to be like electronically, like in this cloud database, for it to then be filed in a storage, because you have to keep medical records up to like between 5 and 7 years, I think.
But
I don't
most-
understand that.
Most places now is almost all electronic.
yeah.
Like they should be. So like them filling out in
They're
terms of like,
in the lower end.
if a patient's hospitalized, I can take my laptop now and look up every time they've been hospitalized in the last 4 years since they adopted Cerner at my hospital. Or not every outpatient has that same thing. So there's some specialists in our hospital, I can look up the notes. Other ones I can't because they don't put them in, or they have to be scanned in because they're not part of that Cerner system.
But that's where it's going.
But I'm saying, like, after you have that paper, I don't even think you need that anymore because
No.
it's scanned in, that's the whole point.
And you have a backup, the whole idea, you have a backup in the cloud, meaning in another location where those are, so all those rooms with all those documents will be faded out.
It can auto-populate, so let's say I have a patient coming in for the follow-up, and I'm doing a follow-up note who just had their cataract surgery, in terms of like medicines, family history, allergies, all of that should be automatically populated into the system. So you should
Yes,
ask the
one more.
question again, just to make sure they didn't forget anything, make sure nothing's changed since the last time you saw them. But
You don't have to be retyping that.
exactly, it should be auto-populated.
And it should be, you remember when I showed you that on HL7, that little video where it was basically what we called HL7, it was XML, you remember I mentioned XML? It should be the idea that when you go to radiology, when you go to admissions, that data should follow you along every department. And that's where it should be, right? In the bank, you're not putting in your information every time. Right, if you order something in Amazon, right?
Yeah.
It's already there, they have even all they say, your credit, the only thing they'll do for security is if you wanna ship to another address that wasn't on your,
Yeah, they're making
This.
sure CVV, yeah.
but other than that, it has it all, so why, you're think about those, it has it. Okay, so, I'm getting feedback, but, let me just make it a little bit lower that we have this. Okay, any other comments on that? So I think I'm kind of showing you then what's available. Wednesday, just so you guys know, we're having some folks come again. And this company is called Life Wallet. Anybody hear about them?
Yeah. That's putting everything on your, like on an app?
No, well, it's not exactly, it sounds good, but everything's like a wallet, but this is different. Let me just see here. Life, let me do Google. Everybody Google it. Life, wallet. Let's see if everything's so slow. Okay, this is also good. You know why I'm like this? This is a startup. And you can take your stuff and you can say, hey, mine looks just as good. You know, and you can learn from these startups and see, hey, I can do it, so I have some confidence. So this one, it looks like, see, some of yours is starting to look like this, doesn't it? So this guy is a graduate, and he, I think he graduated in engineering and went to work for Apple in California, right? The ideal job, go work for Apple, what's there in Miami, and then as usual, what happens is he's working there, his father gets sick in Miami, and it's hard, you know, you feel like you're indebted to come be with your father. So then once he was here, he started this company called Transforming the Delivery of Healthcare, and he's just starting. He got some employees, and notice, you remember when you're talking about it, he's trying really, I think, to sell to large organizations like hospitals. Thanks. You know, I'm getting feedback too, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that later.
Yeah, well, we can check that later. You can come in. He's doing this he's gonna have it, he can do it to hospitals, he can do it with different partners and also individually, where you're going to be able, look at this powerful solution to assess the health of their population. Isn't that what we've always wanted to do, was increase the health of the population and monitor their progress toward better health? So he has an approach, and you can read through it, but it's what he calls light health pods that are made up of 3 components. Encounter, which is a platform for taking any health risk assessment. So it basically keeps you onboarding an individual into an organization's ecosystem. Engage with the health book. And health book allow healthcare professionals to remotely monitor and consenting individuals. Notice he says consenting individuals through a tailored wellness plan. So their idea, look at this, see this idea of tipping point in healthcare has arrived, our plan in action. And then they did something with GE. You remember how I talked about partnering? He took GE, he took West Kendall Baptist Hospital, and they were trying to see on pre-diabetic adults how well they were doing and find out how technology can help you. And then you can see here the individuals. And the individual, you can create, he's done already an app, all-in-one, keep track of your personal health information, like a PHI, have the data you collect mean something, work with a healthcare, and he calls it Life Wallet digital system. Did you finish?
Yes, it's recording, so.
It's recording, and can you just maybe around 4, or how long are you here for?
I'm gonna check it tonight.
Okay, can you, is there a way that in between my classes you can just see
I
about the
haven't
feedback?
looked at the schedule.
Okay, so if you have time, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so you can see here, it gets the little, you can on track, your active moderation. This is such a pain in the butt, isn't it? I just hate it. Let me just turn this all the way down. Okay. And then you can put it on your iPhone, and you can do it. So you can see the company. These are the guys here that are doing it, and they're coming on Wednesday. So what I'd like you to do, if even if I type in Google Life Wallet, they did a nice write-up in the Miami Herald with them. Yes.
But this is already like in everybody's iPhone, like on the health app that comes with your iPhone.
But the Life Wallet?
No, like a separate one that they say the same thing.
Right, but what he's trying to do is gain access with the hospital. And so with the hospital, what it's gonna be is then give a dashboard to the hospital, and these are all my patients. I can get a sense of 56% or an organization, let's say UM. How are my employees doing? How are my students doing? And then I can do a dashboard. What I'd like you to do is look at it, read about it, and here in Miami Herald, helps consumers take control of their health, Norberto is the CEO. He's coming with some of his engineers here. And what I'd like you to do is read through this and come up with those questions. Just like you, what's the difference between, I have this already built into my iPhone, of my health app, of giving all my information. I already have my Fitbits, I have other wearables. How is this gonna be? And I think what his idea here is that he's gonna be selling it to the insurance companies. So go through, and I'd like each of you to come up with like 2 questions, just so we can start. So he'll be here on Wednesday, and then there's another company just starting out, and they're doing some interesting things with depression and using some sensors to reduce depression. And on November, after Thanksgiving, there's another UM grad who graduated in biology, got a master's degree, and she decided to take a little bit of programming, and she's doing some neural networks for detecting breast cancer using some neural nets. So and she's coming as well. So Wednesday, Life Wallet will be with us. So let me go back. Any questions on that? So who we are, and I think basically they want to do assessments. Right now they're in the very beginning stages where they're doing assessments for organizations. And I think they have, it's almost like in a beta format. And then they got this with Kendall Baptist and GE for making the cities healthier. So I think they started with Doral and things like that, where they'll launch advanced assessments. So this is his, and then the organizations he's trying. But I just wanted to show you, reducing healthcare, that basically asking those questions, what I was talking about before for you. Why Life Wallet? How can we benefit your organization? And basically, he's doing like dashboards where you can see here the blood pressure, right? The activity, smoking, reaching out to the groups, working with your clinical partners, and tracking cost savings for organizations. And reaching out to even what we call the caveats for Health IT Gov in getting individuals more involved in their own healthcare. Okay? Next, so I have that down here. If we look at their next chapter, there's another. Let me go back up here. Just to make sure that we. Something wrong with the computer or something. You see how slow it is? Okay. So I'm going to go to course documents. I went, right, does it go? Okay, course documents, just web links. Do you have slow internet too?
Yes, all day.
I know, I was at home and early in the morning and I had from Xfinity too, it was like slow as a snail. Look at this. Questions, anybody? No? Okay. Under readings, if we get there, it's almost like I have to push it. It was eating too much or something, junk food or something. What is the issue here? I'm in Chrome. Maybe, okay, we'll see. Can you imagine? Okay, readings. Jesus, let me close this. I don't think I have anything even on. Okay, I have, this is what I'd like you to read for next week, folks. Under readings, let me just put in my notes here. Monday, November 6th. Under HIT benefits and problems. And I would like for next week, you read under readings, and the readings are under course documents. About HIT, the first one is HIT, Health Information Technology, plus fallacies and the fallacies. And sober realities. And I asked the question that I want you to answer, are what are the 12 HIT fallacies and their implications for design and implementation? So we need a team approach in designing any of these HIT systems. As we talked about before, we need to know not only what is good for the provider, but also how the tech people can get involved, but also the end users. So Bradley, when you're talking about even modernizing medicine, about on your end how it would be difficult, what are the reactions, is what's the reactions of the patients, when the parents, when they're coming to see you. You know, if it may be ways in which they get turned off too, that you're spending so much time with the technology rather than here, there, I have my child here, this is my baby, what are you doing? You're not even looking. So this is a way in which I wanted you to look at what are the 12 HIT fallacies and their implications. Questions? So let me go to the audit area. Hopefully I can get there. If not, I'll try to switch browsers. So I'm going to go to Blackboard. Let's see if we can get it. That came quickly, relatively. And I'm going to go to the audit. I'm going to course documents. And, what have we done in group one? Anything that I need to look at?
No, we're still working on,
Okay, so I haven't seen, so do like what I talked about.
So we were gonna look in, I'm gonna obviously get that one after these situation definitions.
Yeah, but more look at what's available and how can I integrate it. Okay, group two. So what do I have here? Jade, what do I have? Lauren, Carly, Jade, anybody here from group two?
I'm the
No.
only person
Yeah,
here in group
so-
two, but we're still working on.
Have you
the
done
website.
anything since
Yeah,
last?
the website.
Can I look at it, or is anything new from the last time I saw it?
Okay.
when's the last-
I don't know, let me see, this is it, right? This is it?
Yeah.
Oh, have you
I
made
don't
any
know if
change?
Yeah,
Have you made any changes? Oh, that looks good, doesn't it?
we're working on like the creators page.
Okay,
and-
okay. And the services? User testimonial, great.
Yeah.
And meet the creators,
Yeah, we're
okay?
working on that.
And then you can even do a little blurb about, if you want, on how to reach us. Okay, we're starting, good. So what's the next step? What are you gonna,
And if it- The website's not done,
okay,
that.
okay. It looks nice though, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next, let me just go to next group. Course documents, that was group, 3. So what have we done here? We haven't,
The website.
you forgot to publish, right? So this is it?
Yep, we can click on it and, we also made some small changes, it's not completely ready yet, but we're just working one by one each of us
Okay,
on different sections.
okay. So EAG at UM, encourage
Endless
curiosity.
Go
Okay,
down, go down.
okay. So let's talk about what the next steps here, because I don't want to be so delayed. I think if we wait for that lab there,
I mean, the problem is like, they think they're so busy right now that they don't have time for us to.
so I just order, maybe even order like even one of them, and
the
even
thing is,
something from
Just go to the
Amazon.
muse and start.
Just start with the Muse, and we're right on time, you know what I mean? It's now November 6th, you know what I mean? So I'd
I'm
even,
down with it, but like, the thing is, they have the equipment, and the problem is, like, I'm even asking them that if our professor just writes you that we need this type of equipment, so you can just give it to us and we use it, and then later on, we can just educate ourselves on
okay,
what do
we'll
we do on
see.
with the data. The thing is, they're like, oh, someone has to approve, but the problem is no one is answering our emails.
Oh, okay, so
First
then
they do.
we gotta move around it. If we wait for them, you know what I
I'll-
mean, it'll be
I'll
the
go
end of
to-
semester.
I will go to.
But I would count on them not responding, and let's move on. Do you know what I mean? If they respond, fine, if they don't, you know
Sure,
what I
sure,
mean?
sure, sure. I mean, we will
Okay.
have more equipment. Sure.
Okay, group 4, who was group 4?
Do you wanna split
Yeah.
the money?
And where's that?
It's under project.
Okay.
In
Where is
case
it?
if
This?
something happens, because I understand there is a 30 days return. So, and I'll show you.
Hi, we're farm now? Okay, your trusted partner in health? This looks nice. Huh? Okay. This comes up anyways, whether you want it or not,
You
this?
order them after we're done, I
Yeah.
can just pay
You
them.
can't get rid of this?
Unless you pay premium.
No, oh, but you have to have this,
Yeah.
just this line will be
I
there?
think so.
Okay, see, see if you don't, but anyways, you know what I mean, but okay, this looks nice. Aren't you guys impressed? About us or group, okay, here I would do more about us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do more in that section, contact us, and then you have to tell about, well, you still need to work on what are you actually doing, right? Rather than get in touch, you have the description of what it is, no? We need some more, but it's a good start. Okay, next, let me see, where am I? Okay. Okay, so I was 4, right? And 5, so what's up in 5?
Said, don't you have any use or something?
Huh?
Don't you have any use?
You did or you didn't?
Yes.
Okay, Good.
in case something.
I'm pleased.
Already is
Here,
something.
I'm going? Sharoni? Okay,
You're doing one.
okay. Golden Records, emergency room, okay,
We just need to finish it.
okay. But they look good, don't they? I'm impressed. You know, emergency, but now we gotta put some content in it, of course, you know what I mean? At least I know it's emergency, there's an emergency room, right? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but, you know, but we gotta start, and then we wanna do about who contact us, who we are, you know, get in touch, but I put a section on who we are with our website. But we gotta start, okay? And did you check it on mobile? I think usually Wix looks pretty good on mobile too.
Yeah, it does.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
At least they have that already set. Okay. And then I got my group 6.
Pretty much,
So-
you can
And where
sell
am I
website.
going here?
Like,
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really added much to it.
Okay. Have you added anything? What is much? Much means nothing or much means
well, you checked the website last class, but
Okay.
as far as updating,
no? Okay, changing lives. But still, Lena, I like this too. So you didn't have your URL, right? Everybody see this? They don't have that, you know, .Miami here on the top. You know, this you can't, this you have to pay for, but here, on this area, where, you see, and this is nice, you have your little logo there, Lean on Me. I like it, little logo. You have your Facebook and your Twitter and Instagram, great. And they look nice. Okay, our story, Android, easy, Apple, okay. So we're putting Android, so we're not doing, iPhone or what? Or we're just, did we say, huh?
probably have both, like, yes.
Yeah, put both, you know, 'cause then it looks like it's just an Android. Or maybe on this one, easy browsing, put, you know, iOS, Android, automatic upload. I've seen other apps, okay. And then I put a section of who we are, you know, changing lives and then more on what we're doing. And then our app, okay? So what's the next thing? Everybody, I think, needs to fill in the details. So let's do that for Monday then, for a week from now, let's fill in the details. That when somebody comes in cold-hearted, don't know what you're doing, can really figure out, hey, this is what we're doing. Then you can have some other things that will, you know, but this is, we're starting. And then after we start doing that, then we can start, some of you will be doing the apps, you can do like the overview of using some of those apps. But it should be set. Okay? And then,
Before
Yes.
I order the one on Amazon,
yeah,
I was wondering, it was $268.
let's talk about it.
Okay, so.
Okay, offline, okay? So, let's do that, I don't need to, record that, okay? We can just do it after class, it's not an issue for everyone else. Let me go back to Blackboard, and let me make sure our quizzes are available. Master 450, I have, course documents, assignments. I go to quizzes, and I should have 7 and 8, is that correct? Okay, 7 and 8. Let me go back to syllabus. Let me go to web links. Seven, we talk about system acquisition, system development, project management. And 8 deals with system implementation managing. And you can see here, this is what I always said. If all these vendors tell me no problem, and it's easy, I know what, one or two things, either they don't know what they're talking about, or they're lying to me. Because you can see even with something so simple as a recording here, and it worked. It didn't work first week, then they changed my mind, and now I have echo problems. And then I asked them to deal with it, and you can see his enthusiasm for wanting to come back and deal with me, right? Was enormous. Okay, so this is hard to do because systems acquisition means what? What does systems acquisition mean? It's basically purchasing, acquiring, IoTs, Internet of Things, acquiring even modernizing medicine, acquiring Epic. All of this I acquire, I go to these vendors, I do my research, and first of all, I know my vendors are what? Biased. I end up checking with their end users that have their products, so I get a little bit more unbiased representation. But what's the problem? Sometimes this takes a couple of years. And then what happens? It becomes obsolete. I become outdated already. Think about when you get the new technology, it becomes obsolete. So there's a sense of you want to have shorten this process along with implementation. What you have the problem with system implementation is that who's going to train my users? Sometimes even with Epic, what they were doing is for training, they were not hiring computer science people, they were hiring health professionals. Why? Because health professionals knew what the workflow was and could understand the EHR systems. The computer science people had no clue on what the workflow was. In Cerner and Epic, sometimes they hire physicians to come down and train other physicians. Pretty costly, right, to pay for that, but they say, hey, this way it'll be for user acceptance. So when I give you for next week reading about the fallacies and sober reality of HIT or health information technologies, a lot of these systems fail. And they fail for so many different reasons, and there are a lot of barriers on what they're doing is these systems don't many times follow what the end user, their workflow, but they require the end user to adapt to the workflow of the system. So this is, you have then quizzes 7 and 8. And I'll make available then also the technologies that support healthcare systems, which are database management and access, networks, information distribution, remote access, internet, and e-commerce, and clinical decision support systems. This area of clinical decision support systems are allowing systems to help with the clinical diagnosis. Okay, so I'll make that available as well. So where is it? I need to do assignments. What do I need to do? Quizzes. Where do I need to go? Quiz number 9. Where should I go? Edit the test options. And I should make it link available, give you 2 attempts, right? And make sure I submit. Okay, any questions? So we have our assignments. For Wednesday, what I'd like you to do, look at Life Wallet and come up with 2 questions for the folks at Life Wallet. You can even put it up on your audit area. One good question already was, how's this different than what I have on my iPhone? And we'll see each other Wednesday. I'll sit with groups and a little bit early, and we'll sit with groups and see where we go from here. And then maybe what you can do, Amir, we can stop this and just get feedback and see if we hear. We can do this with the DVD recording. Okay, and then Bradley, then I feel more comfortable talking, you know?
No, of course, my fault.
No, it's not, but I'm just saying, that we don't need to record this, you know what I mean? And it has no bearing to the rest of the class, yeah.
So they told me to come back and talk to you because I wanted to see my exam, but we've had like speakers back to back, so it's been a little hectic.
Yeah, let's do it on, you know,
Or when is, I don't mind coming to office hours.
yeah, let's do it on Wednesday. Can you come on Wednesday at like 6:15? Here? Would you have class?
Okay, yeah, I can do that, because I work up until this class, that's why.
Oh, that would be perfect. So I have a class after this, and after my class. So come on Wednesday, because there's someone else.
Or are you here in the mornings on Thursday?
No, but I'm here, but you know, it'd be good because someone else wanted to see their test too, so we can do it as a group. So perfect. So remind me just on Wednesday.
Okay, perfect.
Do me a favor, send me an email in the morning so I bring the test.
Okay, perfect.
So that way you can see
Do you want
everything.
to take it out, like?
Yeah, well, let's, yeah, did we stop it?
Yeah, just hold on. Make
Yeah,
sure.
look over there, did it stop, what does it say?
Stop, yep.
Okay,
Take it
so
out.
yeah, take it out and put it here,
Then-
put it in here, and we'll see what it looks like. You know what I mean, we have to do each time.
Okay, should be.
Okay, anything else?
So, yeah, I mean, the problem right now, I feel is that they don't take us seriously.
Okay, so that, well, we can't, you know what I mean, we can't rely on them,
Yeah,
so.
true, and,
If they come
I'll give them
through.
until Wednesday before, I kind of like write them something in paper and kind of like sign it down and send it to them and be like, you guys need to be more responsible for
Hold
this.
on, let me just see,
I
is
didn't
this
say
working?
anything, I just took it.
Let me just see.
But
Has
until
has an
then-
issue.
Until Wednesday, I'm not gonna have, until.
Here,
next
hold on,
Monday.
let's try to do it in here, hold on.
Sure.
We may need to call them back to tell them that this isn't.
And then for the caps, I believe if you wanna order them and then if something happens, then I'll share 50% of the.
No,
cost.
I don't wanna do that, how many are we ordering and what are we ordering?
Noose, and I believe like 2 should be enough.
2, then it's gonna be twice as much.
Much, why don't you just use one?
Sure. Whatever you guys decide on. we can use.
Why, that's what I would, if it's so, let me just put it. It's called the solution to assess the health of the, and I can get a sense of,
See, if you go back a little, just, can you go back?
yeah.
Like right there.
Here.
They go a little bit, see, the problem is the camera doesn't capture your reaction. If you take a look at your hand, see, it gets blurry for you. So it's good for you if you stand in one position, if you walk a lot. It's not
To
gonna
walk,
count.
better to walk.
No, it's not good to walk. If you take a look at your hand, if it goes up,
Let's
it's,
hear the voice though. But this is better, the voice.
the voice is good.
The voice is good, okay, all right.
See,
Okay.
take a look at your mouth.
Yeah, okay, this is what we got, so, okay, all right, so let's put it back in for the next one. Hold on.
That's the one called Yela. This entire area.
Okay, so let's put this,
Has a big complex of politics, so there was a garment factory there. I'm talking everything from the name.
We should be fine.
Designer
Hmm?
to like the big house.
okay,
Do you want to press start? I mean.
yeah, we'll finish, let's do that and let's push start. That way we know,
And it's on, so you should.
okay.
So how do you want to do it? We can just order one, or whatever you decide. You're deciding.
I would, for, at least, if you're gonna order more than one, what I would, you think more than one of the same kind, or more than one of 2 different kinds?
I think it's gonna be hard to compare data because it's 2 different machines.
So you wanna do
If
2?
you're gonna order multiple, I would order multiple of the same.
Okay, so let's start
So,
with
like, there's
that.
less.
So start with maybe with the Muse, because the other, if by chance we can use the other ones, it'll be something, it'll be more like the caps,
We
right?
can start with one, it comes 2 days shipping for free, so
Yeah, I mean.
If we like it, and we can do that, we can order another one.
Yeah, that's right, I'd start with one. See what you can get.
I just wanna make sure I'm
Yeah.
clear, for this, we're gonna be reimbursed, or this is gonna become ours, and we're gonna own it?
No,
No, we're gonna send it back. If something happens
We're
to
gonna
it.
send it back.
Yeah, if something happens to it, then I'll share 50%
One
of
day,
share
one
with
day.
you.
Oh,
So I'll
okay.
pay you cash, like
What's gonna happen to it? But we have 30 days to when we receive it, or 30 days when you order?
We
Do
get
we
it.
have it, right, do we have 30 days, or do we check
After
on
we
that?
receive it.
30 days after we receive it to return
Okay.
it, but in the meantime, if something happens, let's
Okay,
say.
so let's look at when we wanna present this. Well, we always can present it earlier than what we do, but so, if you order it, then it'll be the 8th, right?
Yep. We can present it on the 13th. By 13th, we should have at least the website running, at least. Then we
So
can-
this is when I want you to present. So let's schedule on the 4th. And you can present with the muse, with the, right?
I can have a presentation ready.
It's perfect.
It will be only pictures and just a little.
Why?
like,
You'll have it.
Oh, no, we're gonna have it, but we're gonna have like the data before that, and we can just use it on our students here, because they wanna participate. So the presentations will be,
No, but your
pictures.
presentation can be also with the muse itself.
Oh, yeah, but like, I'm gonna have pictures, because
Yeah,
to my
no.
understanding,
Right,
like, pictures are
right.
more.
But, right, you can have pictures of yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start with that as the demo, and then what I wanted to create then is the demo lab where you can have a number of different demo, and I'll contact, why don't you do this, Amir? Look up the Microsoft, let me tell you where it needs to be here. Microsoft. Hold on, Innovation Center. Let me just see what I have.
So I'm gonna email them separately as well, like,
Let me try this.
this is me. You've been trying to contact me. Is it okay if, like, I kind of, like, if I don't hear anything back from them by, like, Wednesday, I kind of, like, write them an email asking them why they're not answering? Is that okay?
Yeah, you don't wanna, no.
I don't wanna be associated with that.
No,
either.
no.
But-
No, I'm gonna write it, from my
No.
own.
But I would just,
No.
I think you need to go and talk to the people.
You need to
first.
talk to them, because a lot of
The
times
thing-
people, I get so many emails that I just,
I get a lot of emails,
Yes.
and also,
Who
who
didn't-
are we? We're not in their department,
Right.
we're asking, everything we're doing for them is, they're doing
Right.
us a favor.
Right,
So I
right.
think you would have to go,
Yeah.
explain, they have to trust you with their equipment, that you're not even gonna just steal it or something.
Right.
You know, like,
They're not just gonna give you.
they're not gonna, this is like a lot of, right, a lot of
Yeah.
money and things like that, unless you have.
And
some
also, you don't even know how to
relationship.
use, they're thinking, I'm not just gonna give you, yeah.
So, I think we just need to see, we invite them to speak.
Try
They
to
don't
get
wanna
me
speak.
to them.
Right,
I
then,
mean, you invite them to speak at the beginning and you have to establish a relationship.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, they're like, when I go there, they're like, yes, we're trying to find someone for you, but they're not answering any our emails back. Like, this is the second time we're sending them an email.
Who are you talking to?
Right.
Between who we're emailing and who
Right.
we're talking to?
So the emails that I gave you are the
no, but
ones-
who are you talking to that they even tell you that this is the person you need to contact?
the person who says like one of the persons who works for both of these people.
Okay, this is who you need to get in contact with.
Who is this?
His name is David Crook, and his email is duckcrook, you can even take a picture of it.
At Microsoft. Okay. So what are you going to tell them?
Tell him you're the student, if he wants, he has a cap. They're doing a session, so, let me see if I can reach out to him.
So he has different caps or like?
He has at least one cap. He was gonna check it out.
And is he like, does he know you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I can.
Yeah,
kind of-
so you can say, I hope it's all is well.
I can definitely.
And he has, check with him and see, when is his office hours? Do you know where downtown Miami is? Do you have access to go downtown? You have a
Yeah,
car?
yeah.
Oh, you have a car.
Yeah.
He has, there's a Microsoft Innovation Center in downtown Miami. It's around 10th Street and Biscayne, a little bit off. It's called The Hive, Hive. It's like an accelerator for startups. He has a center there, and he's supposed to have office hours. So send him an email and tell him that you'd like to, that you're working on a project with me, and you'd like to go over in his office hours and see ask him if he still has the cap.
Okay, okay.
And you know that he's busy, he may not have time to come to do a presentation.
But
If
then-
you can go over there, and then don't even ask to borrow it first, ask to, if he has it, you'd like to see it in one of the applications, and then later on, you can at least find out what he's using it for,
Sure.
okay?
I'll
And
email him tonight. and
email him tonight and just tell him that,
hopefully- Yeah, okay. Professor
Okay.
Roshan. Okay.
okay?
I'll
And tell him
email.
that you're one of the students and you know that he has office hours, because a lot of times he sets up office hours and it's not there. So you wanna make sure, you wanna make an appointment for his office hours to talk to him, and especially about the work he's doing in AI and, using that cap. And does he still have that cap? You'd like to see how he uses it, a
And then-
demonstration of it.
Demonstration.
And then you can, just like Bradley was saying, then you can have some kind of relationship where he sees you, he knows me, and then you can say, can you come out and show us this on Monday?
That's being recorded.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have to, it's okay.
Um,
Okay.
Should I order this one right now, and then we can prepare depending on what's happened, so we can start this week?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm-
Because we have enough time, because then we can do the presentation on that week of the 4th. Now it's the 6th already, so we're not gonna get it till what, it's a 2-day?
It's gonna be here Wednesday, so I can bring it Wednesday.
So you can bring it Wednesday. And then we,
Actually, depending what time it comes Wednesday.
well, anyways, if not, the following week, right? On that Monday, and you can try it out from Wednesday to Monday. And Monday, you can bring it to class.
I try my best to get in touch with them. I
Okay,
try
but-
some
but-
other people at the same, but I email him tonight. And I'll let him know that you're a student. I'm working on a project under your
Yeah.
supervision. And,
Right, you're working in print, and the first thing is that you wanna set up an appointment with him and see what it is. Hopefully, you can arrange it that you don't have class, you know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah, I got you on that. Yeah, I do have.
Okay,
an
and then
appointment.
CC me the email,
Sure.
okay?
Sure. So my job until Wednesday will be emailing him and trying to find
Right.
why they're not.
Well, you don't have to press on that, actually go and see if you can meet somebody, okay?
I mean,
And this is in which department? This is neuroscience or?
Neuroscience. It's right behind the physics building. And the thing is, like, I'll try to find someone. I'll try to, like,
Okay.
if I can get to see them,
Right.
then I'm.
And the third person is Alberto, who do you have else in your group?
Alberto.
Right, and what, so check with him to see.
Like, yeah, because he says always.
All right, so see what's the situ, was he supposed to do something too, or?
Yes,
was
he did a lot of the website.
Okay,
Like I created it, but it was like
Okay.
basically.
okay, so put more, once we have it, and then you can talk about in general that we wanna do a demo lab, we're just in the beginning of these, stages. I would even, at this point, maybe take out, just say kind of like the demo lab, and take out UM there, because I don't wanna be, the thing that later on UM says, we didn't,
We'll
give you.
work on it
cre-
and take a week.
I
No,
have
but
to
I'm
have
just
it.
saying
I get you.
that we don't wanna
Copyright.
copyright, and also that we don't wanna, this is the beginning, we don't wanna have in any way, we didn't give you permission as representing UM to do this. So take it as more as we're doing it as a demo lab, like a demo lab, and we're trying to put this
I was like.
up, and then say, we're gonna start with, this is one area, and we welcome other
people.
demonstrations for other types of.
And then anyway, we can, I'll try
Okay.
to send him some emails and we see what happens.
Okay, and then do the croquet, it's an easy,
I CC'd you guys all on that.
oh, okay, perfect,
Oh, the email you sent.
okay.
So did you order it?
I ordered, it's
Okay.
shipping.
It's shipping,
It's on the way.
it's on the way,
It's on the way.
okay,
Maybe it'll be
All
home
right.
by the time I get home.
okay, right. I don't think that, it'll soon be like that, it'll be a drone.
the
that's-
drone, the drone's coming
The
from
drone, and Alexa will tell you
It's
when you're
already on the
home
way.
that it's here, and Alexa will say, I tried it out.
It's weird.
That's weird.
See you guys Wednesday, have a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you on
Okay,
Wednesday.
okay, Joe.
Make your computer narrator. Make your computer. Make your narrator. Magnifier.
Okay.
Will I ever get mine? No. Okay. But I can give it back.
Yeah, some of it was like,
I just pull up my Workday profile every time they say something. Or hit the delete button.
I was just gonna read these.
Is it good?
yeah, I mean.
This is 2019 or this?
I do try to go off.
I'll jump in like this.
It's only fair. Is this,
But I posted like you can check it. No shoot.
Just
I deleted the one.
Yeah, how do you break these up without like squishing? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
There was actually a lot.
Right.
Next one.
You know, culture. Went over it again.
Yeah.
It's amazing to use. It's just like these small oversights. And it's just like enough small oversights to be annoying, but not enough to stop using it because it's just so good at what it does. Like there's no small view. You know, the longer you use Ableton, the less likely it becomes.
Sounds like everything, ever.
Seriously, like, for instance, that Live Aid was, when Live Aid came out, I would never be able to use Live. That was an FL studio. Like, that's how I think. I don't know. I started working with Ableton for a friend of mine who I worked with, we used Ableton to do the sessions and just to cross crowd and easy. And then I started really getting into it and doing it. And because it's just so, everything's so big and it's so, like, easy to do all the things that I do. Suddenly, like, as you start using it, the interface becomes beautiful. It's just like everything is like what I want.
Okay. I mean, I guess that doesn't matter more.
No, now I look at Ableton and I'm like, oh, my friend, it's going to me. Now I go like that, I found it, I'm like, don't ask, yeah,
Oh, I thought both. No, no, I agree. Now. Not long ago.
yeah, I'll see the phone.
Okay, folks, welcome back. Questions before we begin? It's been a while, huh? Okay, so we're ready in November. Crazy. And then we have a week off for Thanksgiving. And then we have set December 13th, we have set our exam, a second exam that'll cover the, I want to not make it cumulative, but cover the second part of the topic. So let me just do some housekeeping here. Let me go to assignments. And am I in the right, under, can you be so kind? Thank you. Can you check this one as well, William? I appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks so much. I had, I'm gonna make quiz 7, intrusion detection and prevention, available to you. So I'm gonna edit the test options. And they both say live? They still say live?
Yeah, still live.
Okay, good. Make the link available, yes. And I'm gonna submit, and you check to see if it's available. So it should be then, you should have quiz 6 and 7 available to you. And Yes,
Did you say the final exam is on the 13th or the 16th?
13th, December.
That'll be our last day of class?
What?
That would be our last.
Officially, that'll be, the 13th will be our, final exam. I may have other assignments, but then that you can upload. Once some assignments I'll have you do, that you'll be able to upload via the auditor, okay? So December 13th in here at the same time as our classes. And hopefully we'll have a little bit more time. I would imagine, as we did last time, I don't think there's a class after this, but it shouldn't take longer than that hour and 15 minutes. So it's intrusion detection and prevention. Also, I want to go back to the course documents, and under the course documents in Asaka materials, we have a section which is section 4, which is security of network systems, application and data, which is called data security. And in this section, we talk about databases and their specific controls. We talk about authentication and authorization of access. There's a company now, let me see what they're called, I think it's Fortress. Let me just see here. Yeah, anybody hear about this company? It's FORT3SS. Anybody hear about them? If you go to them, FORTR3SS, they're a Miami company. And they do voice identification and password management. So they do what they call intuitive, cost-effective solution to identity management, voice imprints. And their products, they have a Fortress app for Android and iOS that use your voice to log you in and manage all your passwords. And it's also an API that allows developers of any type of mobile or software application to leverage the voice biometric engine. And they're claiming that it'll increase the security and convenience of Active Directory access by replacing user passwords with voice biometric authentication. So they're coming next week to present. Local company. So it's there are not too many security local companies here. So contact us. Right, they just have it. See, they're on Southwest 7th Street. So where's it? I guess downtown Miami, huh? So they're and their events, their news. Right, they do some events here. They were at WeWorks, you can see, Emerge Americas. Okay, so their CEO, I think, is scheduled to come. There's another company called, have you heard of them? They're called Life Wallet. And this company, this is the CEO, he graduated from the University of Miami in engineering, and then went out to Silicon Valley, went out to work in Apple for a number of years. And then his father was ill, and it was hard for him to adjust with his father being ill, so he came back, and then he started this company, which is a tech startup that helps consumers take control of their health. He's developed here in Miami as well. Where is he on Southwest, I guess, Southwest 120th Street. So south of here. And this is some of his team here that he's working with, and he's also looking to hire people. He's come up with healthcare to allow, I think his idea is to allow hospitals, organization to keep track of their employee health and try to make them more well. So he's doing healthcare assessments with apps, and let me go to his website here, LifeWallet. Transforming the delivery of healthcare, and his approach is to set up some apps and with some platform. Let me just look here in the organizations. So he's trying to set up a way in which organizations can reduce their costs because their employees will be healthier, and keeping track of their employees if they say yes. So after initial assessment is complete, you can message the at-risk group anonymously to not violate any HIPAA laws. You can provide general health information on certain conditions or ask anyone if they'd like to start a wellness plan to tackle the root of the problem. So you can look at it. So what I asked him to do with his engineers is to talk about his back end of security. What is he doing for security? Because he's holding in all this healthcare information. So he'll be coming in to present as well for LifeWallet. Okay, any comments, questions on it? So another opportunity, some of you that are interested in staying in South Florida, it's ways in which you can direct them and listen to kind of what are people doing in terms of these startup conditions here, how they work. Okay, he's called LifeWallet, and he'll be coming in on Wednesday to present not only his apps and his assessments, but also talking on his back end on how he's holding the information, talking about security. Okay, so this is with theirs. And then when we're dealing with data classifications, what's going to be important is to does IT own the data? This is the question. And if not, who does? Everybody understand my question? They're telling us here that in terms of security, we need to have our data secured itself. We have to tag the data based on the classification of if it is the classification level, if the degree of sensitivity, how critical is it? And my question to you is, who owns the data?
Whoever collected it.
Are we talking about a specific system here, or?
just in general, you're, Toomey, they hire you as a consultant, right? And you're gonna be telling them how are they supposed to organize their data. You're telling them, listen, we have to decide, we have to tag the data, whether it's gonna be, what is the degree of sensitivity of that, what is gonna be the importance of that data. My question to you is, who's gonna be, it sometimes needs to be reclassified, and the question becomes then, who basically owns the data? Who's the data owner?
I mean, we have an end user license agreement for that generally means that the person providing the service owns that data. That's generally what's stated in the license agreement so that they can use it for whatever purposes they may have.
So basically, where you're gonna be is, IT is gonna apply the controls. IT is gonna be monitoring the data, but they do not, in that case, it doesn't belong to IT. It's gonna be belonging then to whoever's responsible for the business processes. It's gonna be, the owner is responsible for determining basically those classifications, the level of protection, who's gonna be creating the data, or an organizational element acts as a custodian for that data. So it has to work in a team effort rather than just blaming IT in that data classification. So you can see where you have on the outside the business drivers, the existing IT processes and regulatory requirements. And in here, regulatory requirements mean what? Give me an example of regulatory requirements.
PCI?
One is regulatory requirements is then PCI, which stands for what? Payment, card, industry. That means that if I hold that any payment cards, I have to be certified on a yearly basis. I have to have standards for how I'm gonna keep that credit card information. What's another regulatory requirements from home? HIPAA's another one. And what is HIPAA saying?
Health Information Privacy Act or something?
Yeah, but what does it entail? We all know it's health, but what does it tell me in terms of security?
It means that information has to be restricted to the people who either own it or are authorized to see it. So healthcare data, like test
So
results.
there's, in the HIPAA requirements, there's a difference between also what's electronic and what's on paper. There's a difference that it's what they call a need to know, that only those people that need to know, so I can see you can see your health information, right, your physicians do, but it shouldn't be other people can do it, but they can't share it. And also what's important is the additional vendors that deal with. They have to be compliant too, is in this data, the HIPAA, I have to know who's gonna even touch that data. So if I have vendors that are storing that data, they have to follow the HIPAA compliant rules as well.
Now, for example, last week, my girlfriend was in the hospital, fortunately she's fine now, but when we were there, her mom's also a physician. So she was asking about her test results. So we're standing there with the nurse, and her labs have just come back, and these are electronic labs on the computer. First things first, anything they do, they scan the barcodes, and then they verify her birth dates and whatnot, just to make sure that it's still her. And then when they can't send her mother the test results, or she's of age, it's a need to know basis. What they can do is they can tell her the results, and then she can be on the phone and do what she wishes with her office.
Right.
The hospital cannot provide those.
Right, unless she was a guardian, she was underage, and then that was the guardian. And that's why they're having all those violations, if they have those violations of giving those portions. What other? They're basically, the banking industry has regulations, and then they have to hold this data. The banking has, who else? They have Sarbanes-Oxley. which is stating the data. So many times on these banking regulations, a lot of times, you remember we saw that, what were they called? ERM, right? The company. You remember they were gonna do a security awareness software, they were trying to sell a product. Everybody remember that? They were trying to sell a product, security awareness. And their bottleneck in selling that product is what? Why are they having trouble selling that product? Who wouldn't want to have security awareness in their organization? You can think here at UM, nobody understands really what the security implications are, right? We even had those folks come from security, right? They were telling us. So why are they having problems? They give this service, they give PCI adherence auditing, they give HIPAA auditing, they give Sarbanes-Oxley auditing. They have no problem selling those services. They have a problem selling security awareness. Why? What? What do we?
I was just thinking about competition with ones about business.
Yeah, but why? Is it required?
No.
Is PCI compliance required if I hold credit cards?
Yes.
So so do you see why? If a company, what do they want to do? If I have to have it, if I'm gonna be penalized, if I can't go on and do my business, I'll take it. If it's a luxury, tell me it better be a good reason, a compelling reason for me to pay money for it. And even when they're hacked, right? Nobody's coming back to them and saying, did you do security awareness? Now, maybe it'll come around when you were asking me, Natasha, about insurance. Remember when I was saying you had to do due diligence and due care, that maybe if it were because people just were passing by and saw everybody's password on their laptop on a little sticky note, maybe later on I wasn't doing it, but for just that security awareness isn't available. So here are the regulatory environments, and then we need to identify those critical process and support the infrastructure. And here is the idea of the data ownership. And here from the data ownership, the ones that are the custodian, they do the data classification. And you can see here those internal controls, and then you can see here the security operational requirements. You can see that this is coming to stay. And then my standards and procedures that I get, like for my NIST, and the other ones I'm going to be putting, and then I modify my systems. But this area is the way in which my data owners here set that data classification scheme here. And when you classify it, you can see that you're classifying it again, as we said before, my access and my authentication, my confidentiality that we talked about before, determining where my sensitive data should be stored, my privacy, user controls to warn effective user, the availability, so, and then the ownership and distribution here is I establish procedures to protect it from unauthorized copy. The integrity, right, that's CAI here, of protected data from unauthorized changes. Data retention, how long do I have to do this? Sometimes it's dependent on the regulatory body telling me how long I have to retain the data and auditability. So a lot of times, for instance, these health records, have you ever seen them before? They used to do what with them? They used to get a storage facility. When did UM get hacked? Was, you remember when they did backup and recovery? You remember that story, Ray, where they put all those tapes, they put them in a van, and supposedly the van, they took them off to the storage facility in the van. So the story is, notice how I say the story is, that the van got broken into and somebody took all the suitcases with the tapes. That's the story, right? And then it was where, and then they had to hire an outside vendor to see, hey, that those were encrypted tapes. They wouldn't be able anyways to hack into it. That was the story too, that they hired another firm to say that other firm couldn't hack into it and see those encrypted files, so we can't either. So you can see that this was just like we have with the regular software cycle, we have the data cycle of the storage. And what's happening here in this data is that now it's less and less paper and it's going to the digital. Where are those clouds? So where everybody's asking, is my AWS HIPAA compliant? Is my Google Drive HIPAA compliant? They're asking all those, and the question is, they're gonna get more yes than no's. And then you get things like the Internet of Things, are they data compliant? And even something like Alexa or whatever, they're collecting my data, right? Are they HIPAA compliant or PCI compliant? You can see among all of those that they have. So then they talk about then the database securities of being a place where they can be hacked as well. And then you have the knowledge check. Okay, so that section, you can see, while I'm showing you this area here, would be a nice open-ended question for the second exam. Okay? All right, so how are we doing in the labs? So what do we have to present today? Let me just see. So which labs, which groups and labs?
We had 14.
Okay, well, we had a number of groups, so let me go to the Blackboard and see what I have. Let me go first to see here. I have my audit area, I have my course documents, I have, so what were you group 1, were you showing something today?
Yeah, 3.14.
Okay, so do you want me to go in there or what?
Yeah, you can go in there. There's a file just right in the root of the folder.
Where?
Should we scroll down? The very last one.
Okay. So who's presenting here?
Mark's gonna do part A and I'll do part B.
Okay. Okay, so what am I looking at? Is this what I'm looking at? Okay, so what am I looking at here?
Okay, so the assignment was essentially to use Windows XP and to play around with the firewall. So
Okay,
we used
so what I would do with this, just so we can get back to everybody getting credit for what we do. So here I would put in what this is, go in and edit this again, Mark, and just put in what this is. Okay, just like what you're telling me. Okay, so what am I looking at in this screen?
So the project had us play with a virtual machine. So what we did was we used a virtual machine.
Okay, and which virtual machine did you use?
VirtualBox.
Okay,
And we played with the firewall, so we basically turned it off and then tried to find a log that kept track of the things that we were looking at over the internet. So the first one is the file location, that's what it looks like. And then if you look in the middle of the second picture.
you wanna come up here and show me what you're talking about?
If you look right here, it shows you the location of where the firewall is
Okay.
inside the Windows.
Okay, inside, so that P firewall you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
However, what we noticed when we were going through this is that this system seems to only work with Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome. It doesn't work with Internet Explorer because Internet Explorer is Internet Explorer. So this was there when we were working with Internet Explorer, however, we weren't able to find this. And
Okay.
we spent a while looking for it.
Okay,
So then for the second picture right here, it shows the firewall keeping a log of the things that we were looking at over the internet. So we looked at, I believe, 6 or 7 pages: Bing, Facebook, Yahoo, YouTube, Google, and MSN. And we found that for for Mozilla, we were able to look through all of those. However, for Internet Explorer, we were only able to look at MSN and Bing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
The second half is.
And this one?
Yep.
Okay.
So for the second half, it had us download the Zone Alarm firewall.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty confusing to use. The first part, it just made us block web access, which we did by checking those first 3 blocks, block all fragments, block trusted servers, and block public servers.
Mhm.
And then there was also an option in the, can you scroll down a little bit more? A little bit more, to the next picture.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So that's me checking the boxes, scroll down more. And then if you keep scrolling, right click on the tray icon where it says resume all internet activity. Before I clicked it, it said block all internet activity.
Okay.
So I clicked that to block the internet activity.
Okay.
Scroll down. And obviously,
7 up.
no internet activity.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then it asked us to enable it again and then see what happens, and we had web activity again.
Okay.
And then it asked for a log of the firewall, and it just has a log of the websites.
So in essence, so what did this, what can you review, what can you say about this Zone Alarm?
I
What-
would
what-
say that it's an effective firewall. You know, that's all it really asked us to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, outwards at least.
yeah, right, but it showed,
Right.
okay. All right, and then you could be able to do it. So I'd go back with these and write, and then I'd do with each of you then is write a description of what's happening here, so then we can understand. Then can we look at it again rather than looking at it, okay? All right, fine, okay. So where are we going now? So I'm gonna go to the other group. So we're finished with your group?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So then, group 2, Jesse and Dane, what do we got?
Yeah, we did 3.11.
Okay. Okay. And what do you
So
want to,
I put a lot of stuff in here, but the actual lab is the lab 3.
okay, so you wanna go, you wanna go through this, then you can sit up here if you'd like. And you can come with Dane if you want. Dane, you can sit, okay. So what did you show me?
All right, so the actual lab was fairly simple.
Mhm.
I believe this was the MD5 Summer, which is a hash encryption program. So what it allows you to do is use files that you already had in your computer directory. So pretty much what you do is you open the program, you go into any folder that you have with any type of file.
Make it a little longer,
How's that? Cool. All right, so I just went into some random C scripts that I have, but you can use it with any file that you want to encrypt. And so basically you just open the program after you download it. There's no setup or anything like that, so you can just click straight into it. You select the files that you want to add a hash encryption to, and then you just add them. Click OK. And then when you get these green dots next to it, that means that it actually hashed the files. And it shows you the hash over here, but it's hexadecimal, so I'm assuming most people wouldn't really care about what this is. And then this is the log file, so to speak. So this is just showing you that it generated the actual hash files, and again, it shows you the hash, but it's hexadecimal, so not a big deal. This is just showing you guys the folder in which I hashed everything. So like I said, you could do this on your entire root folder, but it would take a really long time if you were doing every single file that you had. So I just went really deep into something that had only 3 files, and I hashed that. And then this here is showing that this is an example of it not working. So it's basically just an error of me trying to like run it in the reverse, so dehash the files afterwards. I'm actually not sure why it didn't work. I tried it on some other files that weren't just like code, and it did work, so it might have something to do with the content of the file. But yeah, and then this is the log file just saying that it didn't decode it. So yeah, the lab was not difficult at all. What I would say is that MD5 is no longer like a certified hashing method, so don't use it if you actually want to protect anything. And then the other things that I did, so after MD5, I just put in an implementation. I actually used this at my internship. This is the SHA 256, which is currently an accepted hashing program or method. So this is just an implementation in Python. You don't have anything to read this. Okay, cool. So yeah, you guys don't have to look at this now, but I actually just like implemented the code. So this is the code for the actual hashing algorithm, and then I wrote a script that will crack the MD5 algorithm. And then I wrote a test, but the test isn't finished. Most of it's like commented out, but if you guys want to play around with that, you can. I don't remember why I put the
What is
TCP.
that?
It's a script
I know,
to
but
to create.
why'd you put it?
I honestly can't remember. Like, I had a reason for putting it in there, but I do not remember. But yeah, that'll let you, like, if you SSH into something and drop that program, you can leave a backdoor for show. So you guys can look at that if you want. And I put the answers to quiz 6 in here because I thought I heard someone say that we had to finish the quiz, but
Okay.
yeah, that's all it is. Cool, that's it.
Okay. And then this is this you can get free your implementation there. Where do you?
Yeah, it's just the file is a .py, so I guess you don't have the script editor. But yeah, it's all in there. Feel free to play around with it. Yeah, that's it.
And then Kyle, what were you supposed to do?
Yeah, we had 3.1, 3.10.
Okay.
What's
Where?
it? I don't, oh yeah, that might be it. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's the bottom right there, yeah. It's on Windows Access Controls.
Okay. So all of you that have your screenshots, what I'd like you to do, just like you're speaking about that, is to put descriptions besides just your screenshots. Write a descriptions of what's happening. Okay.
Oh, you have that. Okay. Anyway, I can't remember exactly what I did actually.
See,
So-
you understand what
Yeah,
the problem
no.
is?
That right there is, it's testing vulnerability, to unauthorized access.
So put, when you're doing this, put your names on this
Yeah.
and put exactly what's happening for each of your screens. So go back to your labs that you've done and put descriptions rather than just screenshot, because then you'll go back, like Kylan said, I don't know what I did.
Yeah,
Right, it was a couple weeks
I
ago.
know that failed though. That-
Right, so it failed, and what are we doing? So this was what? This was supposed to show what?
Here, hold on. I thought that we had this better put
I
together
think
than.
it's testing access control.
Yeah. Here, let me look at what the lab said, because when I hit it,
It's doing this yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Setting up file sharing.
Here, let me just go back. And Natasha, did your group was supposed to present today?
We weren't supposed, I don't know if we're supposed to present, but I
Yeah.
can give you a quick rundown of what we did.
Why don't you get your stuff act together, Kyle?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
we
and then we'll
put it
come back,
together pretty
and
quickly.
with Christian, okay? What?
I was about to say, not again, you've been doing pretty well.
No, I'm talking about Kyle, not you. Okay, so Natasha, well, they get, Kyle, okay, you want me to lab 312 or what?
Yeah, so this is basically a Windows 10 event viewer. It's, basically shows like what's running in the background of your
Mm-hmm,
computer.
okay.
So you have some logs, basically shows you everything that's running.
Okay, so this is part of, this is the event viewer showing you what? So the same thing, Natasha, is put a description of what we're seeing, okay?
Okay.
So what are we seeing here? You can do,
For this particular lab, I did not do, but like I said, I could give you a quick rundown.
okay.
All I know is that it is, the logs running behind. I know there's an error at the end. I'm trying to get hold of my group to
Okay,
pretty much
so,
tell me.
okay,
And
so,
I know the group policy thing is, group policy wizard is, how the log is pretty much running up with different users. And then to try to clear it on the lab, it gave her terminal, error.
you know what?
Angelica did this one.
Okay, all right. So you're gonna need to go back as well, okay?
I'm sorry.
You need, tell Angelica, you as a group need to describe within this document what's happening.
Instead of just doing screenshots.
Screenshots, because notice it's one is number 2 and number 2, if you leave it for a week, I don't remember what I did,
Right.
right?
And I'll be able to present it better.
Right, and anybody can present it, and also it's for your work,
Okay.
okay? So that, okay, and then,
We have our act together now.
okay, you have your act together, okay? And then, Eden, what were you supposed to present, your group, were you supposed to present?
Lab 13.
Lab 13. Okay, which one, part A or part B, or part 1?
Yeah, there's part 1 and part 2.
Okay. Do you understand, folks, your feedback for today?
Yes.
You want to help each other, right? And everybody, we're looking, I did something one time, that's what I'm hearing from all of you, right?
Yeah, so part A, this was just knowing how to delete stuff on Internet Explorer on Windows. So there's like, you click on tools and then you press like delete from history, or Internet history. And then the second one is with Firefox. When you go to Firefox settings, like how to set like different privacy, delete the history on there too. So that was my part. There's not really much to explain, but there's also part B. And that's the CC cleaner, like,
This one?
yeah,
And this was the software?
yeah. So this was part B of the lab. We had to go to the start button and
Oh, and run the
yeah.
CC cleaner? And this was, and you were running Safari or what?
We did this on Mac because it actually wasn't on the Windows computer.
Okay. Internet. And what was it? And it found only system files that could be deleted? So what were you supposed to do here?
So, I mean, the lab was to just find ways of deleting
Oh, okay.
history, and so this is another way.
Okay. Good. Shows details of clean. Okay. All right, let's go back. So who is ready now?
Yeah, we're working together. I think that Christian put the things over, but I never told
Okay.
him to, so.
It was Mary's fault.
Yeah.
Okay, so where am I going to?
Yeah.
Group 3.
Just back into that, and I can, now that I see what I did, I can
Okay.
explain it.
Okay, so where am I going?
Onto that document. Yeah.
Where?
Just slab 3.10 at the top. Okay. Yeah, so the first part of this was to use the net use command to try and I think scan a different computer to see like user access. I tried it on my roommates computer at home,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't able to access it. It might be because this book looks like it's written for older versions of Windows. It might, something might be different with Windows 10. Couldn't figure it out. Same with the IndyStat part. And then after that, go up. We have access controls that we're doing. So what it wants us to do is create a file and then basically, I think, limit like user permissions on it. Actually, no, I want file sharing. So, yeah, I mean,
Okay,
that's just,
all right, let me just go back.
okay.
So let's take it back. So when you upload, let's do an assignment then. So resubmit labs, this is for every group. So let's put in there, what's the purpose? And under each screenshot, a description. Of what happened. Issues. And workarounds. So if things don't work, try to find replacements. And workarounds. You can take a picture of this if you want, and then resubmit for all your labs. So go back to all your labs, and you don't have to start from scratch and do it for all your labs. So later on, I can give you credit for it rather than just silly screenshots. That everybody does it, and in the exam too, we'll be covering the labs as well of what happens. So you can even go to chapter 2 in the labs. So if we go to chapter 2 in the labs, you all should be doing the labs. I'm just having each group then present certain labs to be done. So if I go to the labs, for instance, and which one did you just do, Kyle?
3.10.
3.10, which is access controls?
Yes.
So you can go to chapter 2, chapter 2 of the access controls, right? So you can read through here and take the relevant information of the access controls. So they're talking here about FAT32. They're talking about Linux and Unix, top level directories here in the lab exercises. 10A is access controls, 10B is user access controls, and 11 is user access controls. And you should have D and E. So did you have D and E too?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so you can label them and then put in what were the issues, how you do workarounds, and it's an assignment rather than doing it just sloppy. You understand? And just putting screenshots, or I knew at the time and now I forgot. And this is something that you can go back to. So I want you to do it for each exercise that you do. So right now, we've gone, so if I go back to the groups then, so this was 10, right? And you had then, and then you had 13, right? Is 13 the highest we went? We do
We have 14.
14, is 14 the highest that we have? Okay, so, so this, the same thing. So we went up to the firewalls. So for next week, I want you to go back to all your labs and do that. And so for, let's start again. So for group one, then we'll do, you want to do the Linksys for number 315 then? And then you can decide, and tell me if you can decide to see if there's something in the Linux as well. And then group two for next Monday then is, for group two is network intrusion and detection. And group three is network traffic analysis that you're presenting. And group three is who? Right. Okay. So we have 5 groups, right? Am I correct?
Yep, and this is for Monday?
Yeah. Okay. And all the other groups I expect you to do also 15, 16, and 17. These groups then are just of who's presenting. You understand? So you can go back. Some of you I know haven't done all the, you just did what you need to do. So go back and do the same thing and just document it. You just don't have to present. Okay? And then I put online for the assignments. Right. Let me go back to the regular assignment of Blackboard. Information security assignments. And you have then you have quiz, intrusion detection and prevention. So this is online, so you don't have to, you just need to take it online. You don't have to save your questions. So Jesse, when you put in chapter 6, you just need to do it online. You don't need to save the answers. And you should be able to look back, right, and see it. So you don't need to upload it. So I want you to do in terms of your way here, and it's the same thing, so you can describe more of what I appreciate, Jesse, that you're putting in more, but describe it so other students can gain access to it. And then I'll review it for Monday. Okay, just what you do. Is that clear for everybody? So this way it's useful, because the time of the test, or even when you do it, I did something, right? And then when I look at it, it's like I never saw it before. All I knew it didn't work, right, Kyle? You know what I mean? So do a workaround and do some work and see, okay, how can I get it to work? Maybe there's different versions to see, does this not work because I have Windows 10? So search to see, does Windows 10 have something equivalent to it? Okay, all right. So we're got it. So for Wednesday then, we have 2 guest speakers talking about some of the cybersecurity in the back ends. Will be of Life Wallet, and there's another person going to be doing some security in healthcare as well. Okay, so stay with me if you have questions, and then you can get your group together, and then you can let know your group too, is put your names on your documents that you upload, rather than, if you've done the work, then you put your name on it, right, in terms of what you presented. So I can give you credit. Otherwise, if everybody just puts something up, I don't give anybody credit for anything. Okay? Okay. So I'll see you on, next time on Wednesday. Stay with me if you have additional questions. Okay? And if you want to add some together, okay? And get ready for it. And stay with me, Ray, and we can see what we're gonna do. Okay, we're okay?
Yeah.
Okay? And then, what? You're missing some of the left? So go back now for Monday. A lot of you missing the left. It doesn't take a long time, and then you get done.
The information that we're missing.
Yeah, right, so put them back, okay? Just go through it, and do it for all your labs that you've done in the past. Just go back to them, and it's a good review.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my pleasure. Okay. Can you do me a favor and let's, turn these? Yeah.